All right, so I know this is a review, but humanism, what does it mean? Humanism. Connor, go ahead. All right, good job, good job. So we talked about the Renaissance period, okay, how learning, how ideas, opinions, okay, when it comes to insight is changing, right? So before the Renaissance, what was all rhetoric? What was ideas based on? Who was portraying a lot of the ideas, the information at the time? Paul? The church. Yeah, good job. Good job. So with humanism, we see an emergence of really thinking internally, thinking on our own, rational thinking, making observations, and eventually applying measures of science to and principles to learning. Okay, trying to detail really the world around us. So with humanism and the Renaissance period, we see an emergence of just internal things. We see eventually the scientific revolution occur. And that's where we're moving right now. So I talked about absolute monarchies. We talked about the divine right theory and how these absolute monarchs were chosen by God to lead their kingdoms. Okay. And then we mentioned about these Enlightenment thinkers who were challenging the power of these absolute rulers through this time. So again, with the Enlightenment projects, hopefully you guys found that interesting in a way to try to tell their ideas and how they're challenging the absolute monarchs of the time, which was unheard of. Okay. Like I mentioned with these Enlightenment thinkers, they had to change their names or alter their names. Why? Why? Paul.
Because they were like they had so many people probably didn't like them.
Okay.
Like they would want to.
Okay, good. Yeah. So if you try to directly challenge the church or challenge the monarch, chances are you find yourself 6 feet under, right? Yeah. You'd be viewed as a heretic, you'd be exiled, you'd be killed.
They probably think you would eat.
Oh my God. Oh, that seems wild. Okay. Yes. Someone should confiscate Paul's. So anyway, with these Enlightenment thinkers, okay, they're really changing the game with their ideas. Okay, with Voltaire, especially, we talked about his head name, right, his alter ego, to try to protect himself. And actually, he sought refuge with Frederick the Great of Prussia for some time because there's many people after him and his ideas. And then we talked about some of these monarchs that tried to change, to alter their power, to alter their authority. And what did we call these monarchs? Well, absolutely. Okay, what do we call them though that they're accepting the Enlightenment thoughts? It was called really the Enlightenment absolute. So enlightened absolute monarchs, okay, they're experiencing these ideas that were brought forth by these Enlightenment thinkers, okay, and trying to change the game. Why? Why do they want to apply these views of enlightenment and these thoughts, these perspectives of these Enlightenment thinkers we talked about to their kingdom? What was the reason for it? Parker, are you flexing? Okay. What's that? Making people feel heard. Okay, all right. So helping some of these people out when it comes to their freedoms, their expressions. Okay. Why else, Chris?
Keep their power by people.
Yeah, good job, good job. So with these absolute monarchs, especially in France, which we're going to talk about next chapter, there's going to be revolution. There's people that are going to be angry with the way these absolute monarchs lead their kingdoms. So why not try to conform to some of these Enlightenment ideas? Why not try to experience them, give people rights and freedoms? Although they're limited, they're still really, this is the first step to what we know these people gain these freedoms, these liberties, and in order to try to have a sound society. Okay. And again, you don't have to rule with absolute authoritative, I guess you'd say rule with military force. You can give people freedoms and they don't want to. They want to stay in the country that they're provided these freedoms and these liberties. They're not going to try to challenge or overthrow the government if they're provided freedoms and liberties. Okay, so that's something important to know, even though they're limited at the time. Also, with education, and the state is going to help fund education for the society to try to propel it in the future. The only way to make sure that your country is moving in a more positive and stronger direction is if you educate the society. Okay. So Frederick the Great, especially in Prussia, he thought education should be experienced when it comes to military tactics. Prussia is going to have a very strong military moving forward that follows the 30 Years' War, okay, where this is going to change the game for really the land armies in Europe. Okay. So with Prussia leading up to World War I, and what we know is the German army, this is where it all begins. And without these Enlightenment views being expressed in Prussia. Who knows? Who knows what would have happened? Who knows where this power would have resided in here? Okay, so is there any questions here on humanism? So you can see the direction we're going in here with the scientific revolution. And eventually this is going to be really progressing to a period of time where we see advancements not only in everyday life, but for the most part, we'll see these advancements on the battlefield. Okay. Now it's getting to strengthening these countries in Europe to a point where it's going to lead to a huge war. All right. Okay. Is there any questions here on humanism? No? Okay. So we're going to focus here now on the scientific revolution. I have a few terms for you. And then maybe tomorrow we'll dive into the notes. Maybe not. What, Alana? Why not? I'm a crazy man. I don't care. I'm going to do it.
Come post it for me. Yes, hey, sorry.
Yep, 3 essay assignment. 2 seconds left in the period. 2 minutes in the period.
You don't get it done, there's no rescue.
Oh, all right, here you go. Oh, here are your terms for today.
No, that's what I.
Hell. So listen up. Just work on your terms. We'll go over them and then we'll end the class. Tomorrow we'll have the current events and then we'll jump into the notes when we come back. All right? All right. Sound good? Alana, is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll see. Usually throw that out in the middle of class.
What? I didn't do it,
Right?
Hey, guys.
It's not gonna take you long.
Connor, right? Connor be done, I haven't even started.
Yeah, just like our race yesterday. You can get all started.
Okay, okay.
Nick, you should raise it.
You have,
I can be quiet at this. I got.
you can't.
I did yesterday in class.
I was talking.
Okay. You have excuses for everything.
No, I was not trying to waste my energy for practice. What do you think?
You know what those mean.
I did you already grab it?
How much money do you spend on these things?
It's like $50.
Oh my God.
And he's the one.
Other than the one that said.
I'm thinking video.
Listen, we don't talk about that.
I should.
Like Pokemon.
I have no idea.
The one that like pyramid thing. That's what you expect. Come on, just grab it. Yeah. Hang on. Remember this. Yeah, probably. Hey, I think that joke about Congress told me to not. So.
What joke is
Mr.
that?
Bowman, go to the office.
I don't know what joke you're saying.
Go to the office. Say it out loud.
No, what joke did you say?
Oh, this is pretty much close to the same thing. The triangle, and I think Connor would probably like it.
Here.
I probably think it.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, right? You ruin all of them.
Go ahead.
You're telling me Lord Farquaad is real?
Stop it.
Look.
I knew who you were.
Lord Farquaad,
Why?
Nicholas. Nicholas. Lord Farquaad.
I'm very good from the history grade.
Hey, we done? Okay, shh, quiet. Thank you. What? All right, okay, so we finished? All right, so what do we got? Follow me. What do we got? What do we got? Let's go over it real quick. Ozzy, what do you have? Yep.
A mathematician, geographer,
Okay, all right. So what was he famed for? Chris. Geocentric model. Yep, good job. So he came up with this when we go through the presentation. You see Ptolemy up there. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it, Ptolemy. Yeah, that's what it's referring to. So he came up with this idea, the geocentric model. All right, so what is a geocentric model? What?
And the theory of the structure of the solar system where the Earth is at the center.
Yeah, good job. So make sure you guys make that connection. Geocentric, the Earth's at the center of the solar system. That's what before this scientific revolution, that's what people believe. And this was trusted by the church. The church said that this was the proper idea of how planets of our solar system revolved around the Earth. That's how they viewed it as. Okay, so the Earth was stationary, right in the middle of the solar system. And then we have, obviously, the planets, the sun even, revolving around the Earth. Okay. So first, it's the moon. So the moon revolves around the Earth. Then we have what? Mercury, right? Venus. And then the furthest they got was the sun. So the geocentric model believed that the Earth is right at the center of the universe. Blessings. All right. Then Copernicus, we have Nick. Might as well ask you, Nick. Uh-oh.
Oh, whose phone is it?
Uh-oh.
Whose phone is it?
Uh-oh.
What'd you say?
What? Nicholas Copernicus, what we got, Nick? All right, okay. So Copernicus, he'll later try to challenge this geocentric model, okay? And he believes that the what is at the center of the solar system? Awesome. The sun. Yeah, good job. The sun, which we know is true. Okay, so Copernicus, he develops this heliocentric model. He tries to challenge the church, try to challenge the authority of the time, saying that no, it's not the Earth at the center; it is the sun. Okay, and he does so through observation, which leads to what we know as the scientific revolution. One thing to note about Copernicus, though, do you think he voiced his opinion about this model challenging the church? Do you think he'd do so at the time? What do you think? Connor? No, why not?
Probably killed what he did.
Yeah, he probably killed, right? A lot of times he was very in fear of what could happen if he directly challenged the church's view of the geocentric model. So he thought, well, you know what? I'll just write a book. And literally, he finished his book on his deathbed, the day he died. And he didn't express his opinion, his idea of the heliocentric model until he was dead. So he finished his book literally on his deathbed. And the day he died, he wrote on it. And that was it. Okay, again, because he was in fear of what could happen to him by directly challenging the church and these direct absolute monarchs. So the heliocentric model, again, the sun's at the center of the solar system. Kepler. Yeah, okay. What do you have for Kepler? Connor, go ahead.
German astronomer, mathematician, astrologer, and natural philosopher, who was also a musician.
Okay, good job. So Kepler, here he is. He's really building off this scientific revolution. He's taking some of the ideas here of Copernicus, and he's realizing, you know what, we should try to challenge somewhat of the ideas of the time. We should really think outward, right? We should understand the world through scientific reason. Parker, have anything to add here about Kepler? He figured out how. Good job. So he came up with this planetary motion. Okay, so ellipses around the sun. So he realized that the planets do revolve around the sun and they move in a direction like an oval shape around the sun. Okay, so make sure you guys remember that. Biggest thing here is the ellipsis orbits around the sun, how the planets do so. Again, he did so through observation. This is really detailing about this scientific method. First step, you got to make an observation. You got to start somewhere. And then we can go through somewhat of, taking a hypothesis, testing that hypothesis, realizing if that hypothesis is right through experimentation, and you can go back up if it's wrong. But if it is right, you can publish your results. All right, then finally, Galileo. What do we have for Galileo? Someone, please. Chris, thank you.
He invented some of the strongest telescopes of the time and made a lot of strong astronomical discoveries.
Yep, good job. So the telescope, one of his inventions here, and he's really looking outward, okay, focusing on the moon. Okay, so he actually picked the moon with craters and mountains on it, which he thought was amazing for the time. He didn't realize that he could see up close and personal. Some of the moons of Jupiter, and he even found sunspots on the sun. You imagine this guy just looking directly at the sun line. Oh, gee, played. Also, he came up with a pendulum clock. So when it comes to physics, which we'll talk more about here in this chapter, okay, he's really starting this age of physics and really testing out the scientific method. So now we're going through testing, experimentation, the scientific method, not just depending on what is known as the church. Okay, whatever they have to say goes. Nope, we're branching away. And again, this is a part of this Renaissance period. All right.
But when you can't hit me, that's abuse.
What?
That's abuse. You can't lick me.